Bosh, we're back. Welcome back to BoreDraw, episode 21.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
We had like a bit of a break.
We had a little hiatus, but we're back now.
Yeah, we're back. Back in the... Well, and then this international break coming up, so...
Since the last episode, Chelsea have signed a new manager.
It's all been carnage.
Brighton have signed a new manager. Queen died.
Queen has died.
Got a king now.
What else has happened? I don't know. They're pretty big headlines, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a lot has happened.
Arsenal's still the best team in England.
Haaland's unstoppable.
Yeah, but where do we start? So obviously there was a week of no football, and so kind of threw us off track in terms of our predictions and what the hell was going on. It was nice there was Champions League, there was Europa League and all that jazz, but we're back now with, what was it, 7 or 8 games? I think it was 8 or 7, I don't know. Yeah,
a few of the big teams not playing this week. Yeah, the likes of City and Arsenal still coming fast and coming strong for that title charge, potentially.
You'd love to see it. Should we start with Friday night's games?
Friday night's games, yes. 2 games on Friday night, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was one on TV, Aston Villa versus Southampton, and the other one wasn't on TV, Nottingham Forest versus Fulham.
Do you know which one was on TV?
Genuinely, I tweeted this, probably the worst game of Premier League football I've ever witnessed in terms of quality. Like, there's games where it's like 0-0, but they're like excited 0-0s, or you're like, this is a stinker, but at least they're like playing right.
This was a bore win.
The quality was so bad. I've never seen anything like it. It was genuinely, if I was both, even like Villa, it's nice to get a win, but if I was their fans, I'd be like livid with the football they're playing. It's so bad. Yeah,
I mean, they come out 1-0 victors against Southampton, who are a decent side. But yeah, like you said, the quality just wasn't there from either side. It was an absolute stinker of a game.
Yeah.
I think with Steven Gerrard, though, you're very happy because...
Yeah, it kind of gets your head off the chopping block for another week.
Yeah, exactly.
But Southampton, they were so bad. Like, couldn't string 3 passes together between them. James Ward-Prowse looked shit. So many players just off it. I don't know. Like, obviously they go and beat Chelsea, so it's like maybe they count that as a win that they shouldn't have gotten this as a loss. Kind of like, who cares? They cancel each other out. But it was so bad, genuinely. And you target Aston Villa in the form they're in. This is a pretty decent way to get 3 points, and they just didn't turn up at all. Couldn't pass between the lines. Forward, they were just... I swear they had like 2 shots on target, and they were like barely even shots. It's dry. And then...
Dry game. I mean, to be fair though, that's a draw against City and now a win against Southampton. I mean,
yeah,
they were much better against City than they were against Southampton.
100%.
Just goes to show the gap in quality between those teams. But if you're Steven Gerrard, 4 points from those 2 games, you'd be very happy.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, and they only lost by a goal to Arsenal, didn't they?
Yeah.
At 2-1.
Yeah. What was it, 3-1? I can't remember.
It was like the quick instant reply, and then suddenly Martinelli again, wasn't it? But yeah, and then the next game...
They had a 5-goal thriller that wasn't even on TV. They should just put both games on TV and let people choose.
It would be funny, yeah, but this was like the promotion battle. So like, you had the 2 new
We're talking about
teams.
Forest and Bournemouth the other week, when it was like, you want to get 3 points off the people you get promoted with, or it's just a bit... They're like 6 points that you target every year. And for me, Nottingham Forest, there's problems there. There's problems there, Luke.
Yeah, there are problems.
So they were 2-0 up.
They've done like just ridiculous spending, and like I said, to go 2-0 up. They brought in good players.
It was 1-1, then 2-1.
Oh, that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but yeah, shocking. Just
yeah. I mean, it's obviously when you bring in that amount of players, it's going to take a long, long time for it to gel and like, become like a cohesive team unit. But you got to be getting results, especially when you're scoring 2 goals. To lose by 1 goal after you score 2 is just going to be...
Yeah, for me, I think it's just that obviously there's just like the looming thing of they've signed 25 players, and that is what everybody's just going to pick apart and being like, oh, they need time to gel. But I think they've got to go and do what Everton have done, and what Bournemouth have done recently, just become defensively solid.
Be hard to beat.
And then work from there. Because at the moment, they're shipping like 3, 4, 5 goals every game, and it's not a good look. It just makes the game so hard to win when you're already 2 or 3 goals behind.
Your game plan is to literally just try and outscore your opponent no matter how many goals you concede. you're not going to have a solid foundation. You're going to literally fall apart. Like, it's like this hint of pressure on you.
Yeah.
This was, I mean, before the season, you would have said if you're a Forest fan, this is a game to target. This is a must-win 3 points.
Yeah.
I think Fulham have surprised a lot of people when they've come since they've come back to the Premier League with the level of performance they've shown.
Yeah, they're probably, for me, the surprise package of the season so far.
Yeah.
They're playing very well.
But Awoniyi got on the score sheet, didn't he?
Yeah, I like that they started Awoniyi because I think what they've been doing wrong the last couple of games is they've been playing like Brennan Johnson up top with like Lingard and Gibbs-White behind him, when Brennan Johnson isn't like a focal point for a Premier League
He's
side.
better playing off the focal point as opposed to being
he
the focal
needs
point
someone to play passes with, someone to hold the ball up. And so I like that they've played with an actual out-and-out number 9. And I think if they keep playing him and give him a run of games, I think Awoniyi will come good. Because he seems to be a bit of a handful. But yeah, for me, the problems are defensively. You just need to stop shipping 3 or 4 goals a game, because just an uphill battle every time that happens.
Yeah, I mean, surprisingly, Fulham go score 3 goals and Mitro doesn't get on the score sheet.
Yeah, I don't know fancy.
Palhinha looked phenomenal once again.
Yeah,
looked to be a really
very
shrewd
good
signing. Willian back in the Prem, got
an assist. Yeah,
got an assist. Yeah, I mean, if you're Forest, you got to be a little bit concerned, because how long do they get to gel all these players?
Yeah, it's like, how much credit does Stevie Cooper have in the bank?
And
probably quite a lot, to be fair.
Talking about them going to be defensively, like they need to be more defensively solid and build from that. One of the things about Forest that we were like applauding them for was the fact they came to the Premier League and started playing their football, regardless of who they were playing, and that they weren't sort of like bowing to the pressures of being back. But when does it get to that point where you go, actually, maybe survival this season is a bit more important than just playing our football?
Yeah, 100%. It's kind of like Bournemouth bit the bullet, sacked Scott Parker, because that football wasn't working, and they've gone, oh yeah, let's get defensively sound, let's try not to get relegated, and then we can go from there. But it's, yeah, like you said, how much longer can Nottingham Forest continue to play their kind of football and it not work? How much like credit do they have in the bank? Because they're going to start falling behind teams that, to say teams that they think, oh yeah, we'll be in a relegation battle with them. But if you're already like 6-9 points behind them,
you're in trouble.
Yeah, you're in trouble.
Especially when you're a team like Forest, where you're pretty much the underdog in every game you play.
Yeah, literally.
Then Saturday's games.
Yeah, so we start with the champions, Manchester City.
Manchester City.
You smashed this prediction. You picked 3-0, and it was 3-0.
Yep. First minute, Jackie Grealish.
Yeah, he's been getting some heat recently because
a lot of stick.
He hasn't really been doing too much. When he played in the Champions League against Dortmund midweek, he looked shit. And I think it was quite bold from Pep Guardiola to play him again. Maybe he saw Wolves as a good opportunity for Jack to kind of get some good minutes, and saw it as a game where Jack could get his confidence up, and a goal straight off the bat is really good.
Yeah, his statistics since joining City are pretty dismal considering the fee they paid for him. But it is strange because we saw at his time at Villa what he can do.
Yeah.
There was a reason why every England fan was shouting for him to be in the team and be in the starting lineup, because he was electric.
Yeah.
But even Pep's gone on record now saying that he's not there for his goals and assists.
Yeah, I was literally about to say that. It's like Jack Grealish came out after the game and was like, I do want to be scoring more, I do want to be assisting more. But I think it's like, you can tell that Pep Guardiola wants him there because he does work for the team. And even if I've seen a lot of people come out and say Jack Grealish, he's a player that you want to attack the defender every time he gets the ball. But if that's what Pep Guardiola is telling you not to do, if he's telling you to recycle the play constantly, and you go out and start taking on defenders, you're going to get dropped because you're not doing what he's telling you to do. So if he is doing what Pep's telling him to do, the fans have just got to kind of bite the bullet and be like, yeah,
it's very much the system comes first.
Yeah, 100%.
Why they've been so successful. I mean, the problem is when you got the likes of Kevin De Bruyne, who got 2 assists, and Erling Haaland, the system is that is the system.
Yeah, exactly.
Pass the ball around until they find a little bit of space, or Kevin can make a bit of space, and then that's it. But But yeah, Erling Haaland got on the score sheet again.
Yeah, it was a very un-Erling Haaland goal. It was a shot from the outside of the box. He like took on a defender and then hit it into the bottom corner. A little bit scuffed.
He can do it all though.
Yeah, decent goal to be fair.
Just is like, the question is, how do you stop him? I don't even know anymore.
Yeah, I think he's going to be just...
If I was an opposition manager, the game plan's got to be cut the supply. Because he doesn't get involved in the game. He'll literally take like 5 touches but he will score.
That was his 3rd touch, I think, that game.
Yeah, so you've got to cut the supply. But how can you cut the supply when you've got Kevin De Bruyne in the middle?
Yeah, he's a joke.
You can't. The guy will find the pass with no space around him. Nathan Collins, mate.
Yeah, I just want to touch on Wolves. Nathan Collins was fucking shambles of a tackle.
What was that?
I don't know. He kind of like decided to just drop kick him.
Yeah, it was like something out of a Bruce Lee film.
Yeah, I don't know what he was doing because then after he was like, I had eyes for the ball, but it's like, this doesn't matter. If you're fucking studding a guy in the ribs, like, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, that from then on, you just knew.
They were fighting a losing battle anyway. But I think
the question was how many it was.
Yeah, and for me, I think they played quite well. I was talking to someone, I can't remember who I was watching the game with, but I was like, this Wolves team, even at 10 men, would have beaten both the Villa and Southampton teams of the night before, because Wolves were actually decent, still creating chances even with 10 men, only conceded 1 more when they went down to 10 men, and they looked okay. Whereas like Aston Villa and Southampton, I saw nothing. I thought they'd get turned over by this Wolves team. So yeah, I wouldn't be
struggling to find the back of the net though.
Yeah, for me the main problem is still what it has been the whole of this year so far and the whole of last year. They just haven't got a decent number 9 to put chances away.
However, they have copped Diego Costa on a free transfer.
They have indeed.
He didn't get any minutes this game. Apparently, he's quite behind in terms of his fitness at the minute.
Doesn't surprise me. How old is he? Got to be like 35.
33, I think.
Yeah.
But I mean, we know what he can do. He can score goals. He might be just what they need, basically.
Yeah. As long as he, gets a run of games, doesn't get injured, I think he could be, could be a good bit of business.
Do you think anyone can actually stop City this season?
No. I think they'll run away with it. Liverpool already too far off. And it's probably Arsenal and Spurs, maybe that. But I think them two will just settle for Champions League and not really picture themselves pushing for the title.
Erling Haaland, is he going to score 40 goals?
I think so.
You think 40?
Yeah. 40 Prem goals. He's on 11 already, or 12 already.
Yeah.
It's a joke. He's only played like 7 games.
It's giving me Thierry Henry vibes where people understand that he's a threat. They can analyse his gameplay all he wants, but like you actually just can't stop him.
Yeah, 100%.
There is nothing you can do. You just got to hope he comes on and has an absolute stinker. Yeah. Or he comes on and rolls his ankle or something.
Yeah, well, we were saying this in a podcast a while back. You just got to chop him down. Someone take an L for the whole league.
Then you've got to play City with 10 men.
Yeah, someone take it. Well, that's what... Instead of fucking stabbing Grealish in the ribs, fucking Nathan Collins should have gone for Haaland. Just take him out.
And then they bring on Julian Alvarez.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't win. But yeah, it is scary what the City team are doing.
Yeah, it is.
And you've been saying it for years. Like, if you did put likes of Erling Haaland, even when Messi was linked to them, like the likes of that, in a team which creates so many chances with players like De Bruyne and Phil Foden, even Mahrez on his day, Bernardo Silva, it is just absolutely terrifying. So good luck to everyone.
Yeah, it's an L, I think, for the rest of the league. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
Should we go on to... When we were talking about Nottingham Forest, we were saying how they need to get a bit more defensively sound. And going from shipping, what was it, against Liverpool 9? Was it 9-0? Yeah.
Yes.
Bournemouth lost 9-0. So to go from that, travel to St James's Park, which is becoming quite a bit of a fortress, and to draw 1-1 against New Money Newcastle.
Yes.
Bournemouth looking decent at the moment.
Very, very, very surprising. Yeah, I didn't think it was a great game.
No. And for me, I don't want to have too many of the Toon Army coming for us, but 1 win in the league so far, that's not very good.
Yeah, I mean, they look a bit devoid when players like Saint-Maximin aren't about.
Yeah, I think they're lucky they got Isak in, because now Callum Wilson is injured. They could have had just no firepower up top, but I think Isak's okay, and he'll carry them a fair way. But yeah, you need your money man back. You need some Maximan back, because he literally seems to be the only source of inspiration whenever they're coming up against a team that... If they're in a big game where they have to sit in a bit and counter, they seem okay. But if they're the team in charge of the game, expected to dominate Bournemouth, they're a bit lost for ideas unless they have some X-Man on the pitch.
They're 4-3. Almiron, Isak and Fraser. Isak looks like the only one who's really probably...
At that level.
At the level to push them forward.
Yeah, 100%.
Almiron...
He's been in the league too long and not delivered.
His attacking output is just not
so bad.
Not there. I mean, Bruno Guimaraes is an unbelievable player.
Yeah. Their midfield three, I don't mind. Willock, Guimaraes and Joe Linton. Probably not for where they aspire to be in like a year or two, but for right now, I think he's fine.
Villa.
Yeah, I think right now, for where Newcastle are, I'd say he's fine. That midfield three is good.
He's decent, yeah.
Yeah. And the defence is sound. It's just going forward.
Yeah. It's Botman on the bench.
Again. Yeah, he just come back from injury.
Yeah, because he'll be, once he gets a consistent run in the team, I think he'll be a really shrewd signing.
I think their defensive unit is really good, and they won't ship that many goals. I think it's just if they get outscored, and they need a fit Callum Wilson. Isak's fine. Maybe even when Callum Wilson's back and you play Callum Wilson up top, Isak on one side, and Saint-Maximin on the other. That could be a bit of a motive, yeah, big time.
Yeah, I mean. This is just a rogue one to throw out there. Obviously, Tuchel's been sacked. Pochettino's on the market.
Yeah.
Potentially. I mean, I know Newcastle are very happy with Eddie Howe, especially after last season. And you got to get, like, if you wanted to see results, you got to give him time.
Yeah.
Feed the project. But I mean, if a manager like Tuchel is around,
yeah, no, that's a shout. And I'd like to get a Newcastle fan opinion on kind of, firstly, how many games into the season, if you continue on this kind of form, before you make a change, and then also what they kind of think Eddie Howe's remit is for the season. If they think it's top half, if they think it's European places, what do they think they expect from Eddie Howe? I mean, because then that kind of judges if the fans... Because I heard there was boos at the St James's Park after the game. So
yeah.
It's one of those... Where do they expect the club to be this year? And if Eddie Howe's the guy to get them there?
I know Bournemouth picked up a point.
It's a good point.
Do you think they've got enough about them to beat the drop this season?
Nah.
Because I just really don't.
Unless you'd expect the likes of Villa and Leicester to either come good soonish or sack their manager and come good. And so I think it's just how long can those teams wait in the shitter and kind of stay where Bournemouth are? Because if those teams take off, the teams that I thought would be in and around Bournemouth are playing well. Like Fulham, I thought they'd be in and around, playing well. Leeds, playing well. Everton are starting to look on the up. So, yeah, it's kind of, if the league stays as it is, maybe, but you'd expect other teams to make some changes and get better.
Potentially. Right, let's take a little break. And we'll be back with you for the next game, which is...
The Mighty Boys.
We always seem to do a break right before the Arsenal game.
Well, we can do a different game.
That's cool.
Okay.
We'll be back in a minute. Right, we are back. It is time now for...
The best team in England, top of the league. Here we go.
I'm just going to mute my mic for the next 25 minutes.
Hit me. So, basically, last year we played Brentford, first game of the season. And we looked shit. We had a COVID outbreak. We had some players injured. Blah, blah, blah. But it was still a dodgy result. And one that started off really bad. It started off our season last year really badly.
What was the tweet?
And then Ivan Toney came out after the game and said, nice kickabout with the boys.
I like the shithousery. I don't like Brentford, but I like the shithousery.
Yeah. And then in the Arsenal All or Nothing, Arteta showed them that for the home game when they came back to the Emirates. And we beat them. Battered them, actually. And then today, or not today, it was yesterday when we're filming this, we battered them, not going to lie. 3-0. And then after the game, Gabriel Magalhaes tweeted, nice kickabout with the boys. It's all a bit handbagsy. You'll have to see it. Who cares? Top of the league. But I think, firstly, Brentford just looked off it. I don't know if that's just because...
They don't look like the team that beat United.
Yeah, that battered Leeds.
Yeah,
they just... every team has one of those days where they just come out and just get it wrong. Either the formation's wrong, the players all putting in like 6s out of 10 instead of 8 out of 10.
Call-ups going to your head.
Yeah, you see, he done this free kick where they like rolled it back to him and he like flicked it up and volleyed it over the wall. Don't know if that's just, like, check yourself. But no, I like Ivan Toney. But yeah, they just had one of those days and Arsenal took full advantage. And from minute 1 to minute 90, we were just all over them.
Yeah, I think they just couldn't combat your press. Your press was insane.
So good.
Saka had a really good game, I thought.
Yeah.
2 assists for the boy. Gab Jesus just doing Gab Jesus things.
Yeah, for me, he's the man. He kind of sets the tempo and he's always on it. You know, with Lacazette, you get 1 in every 3 games where he's on it. But Gabriel Jesus, every single game is giving you 8, 9 out of 10. And his press is insane. And when you got Martinelli and Saka on either side of him doing the same, it was good. I was a little bit worried because we had no Odegaard and no Zinchenko, but Tierney's a pretty decent replacement. But it was Fabio Vieira's first game in the Prem.
What a goal.
What a goal, what a player, mate. He looks techie as fuck. Love it. I love it.
What I had a point and I was just completely forgotten it.
Should we talk about Saliba? Is he the best centre-back in the Premier League?
That was my point. I was going to ask you.
The geezers are
Is Saliba better than Van Dijk?
Yeah. Hit me. Fight me. Liverpool fans, fight me. He is.
This season, obviously, you
I saw a tweet where it's like, Van Dijk ever since Saliba has entered the Premier League, and it's, do you know that meme of that kind of small guy in the back seat doing the dance and he looks like Van Dijk? It's mad. But yeah, for me, Saliba, one of the best centre-backs in the league, and the kind of defensive unit of him and Gabriel with Thomas Partey in front, the press resistance is a joke. Thomas Partey is so good. I know we talk about Rodri, but I think you have so much protection with how City play. I'd say Thomas Partey is the most press-resistant player in the Premier League. Genuinely, he's so good at having 4 or 5... He'll suck in players and then just take a touch away from all of them, and he kills like 4 or 5 players out of the game every time he gets the ball.
Yeah.
And then we have a disgusting counter, but he's so good at a lone pivot role.
One player who's probably gone under the radar a little bit, but has been absolutely pivotal to Arsenal's success this season, Granit Xhaka.
Yeah, and he's captain this game.
Yeah, he's going forward is part of a game that we never really...
Yeah, used to see, because he'd always play a double pivot with someone defensively that was a bit wobbly, and they both have to defend more than... Or that Xhaka would have to defend more than he wanted to.
That's it. And you're seeing the fact that he's playing with Partey, he's got this freedom to go forward.
Yeah. And
like sort of occupy these half spaces, and he's looking really dangerous.
Disgusting assist for Gabriel Jesus. Nice little dink ball into Gabriel Jesus. And I think his redemption arc at Arsenal, he still gets slandered in the media, and I think, I don't know why, they've all just got a bit of a vendetta against him because he's easy to hate. But I think this season he hasn't put a foot wrong. And yeah, I'm very impressed with... Going forward, like you said, I saw Ian Wright on Match of the Day say that he plays kind of a bit more forward like he does for Switzerland because he has more defensive solidity behind him, especially with the likes of Kieran Tierney and Zinchenko, who now, instead of bombing down the wing, they drop into that space behind him. Yeah. So he doesn't always have to shit himself and be like, oh, what about the counter behind me? He's got cover. He can think about passing it forwards. And he does always look for the progressive pass. I don't know what his progressive pass stats are, but I'd assume they're quite high this season because he does always seem to have the balls on him to look for a pass and it might go wrong and then he'd rely on the press to get it back. But yeah, I'm quite impressed with him in that kind of forward 8 role. Yeah,
the organised press that Arsenal have, it's so well thought out that they have pressing triggers in the opponent teams that they focus on. Very much how Brentford did against Man United when every time Fred had the ball, they would instantly swarming with 2-3 players because they knew that he was very poor when it came to being pressed.
Yeah.
You got school in the morning?
Yeah.
Nwaneri? 15-year-old.
I saw a tweet where it's like his PE teacher when he comes back into school, when he didn't even know who he was until yesterday, the Arsenal game, and he's just there like Jose Mourinho masterclass. And I was like, yeah, imagine being the youngest player ever in the Premier League. That's crazy.
He was 12 when COVID started.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
15 years old. You go back to school and you'd be cleaning up. Year 11 Arsenal player. Mate, are you dumb?
That is...
You dumb. The teacher would be like, sit down for your GCSE. I'd be like, shut up. Don't talk to me about GCSE. What? Are you stupid?
That is mental. 15.
GCSEs what? Nah, no. I'm playing for Arsenal.
Do you know much about him? Because I can't say
that. So he came, this was literally... So he's been training with the first team now for like a couple of weeks. And I think he's just shot up. So he was playing in the under-18s at 12 years old. And just being fast-tracked straight from the under-18s to the 21s to first team. Crazy.
Under-18s at 12 and he's playing against Brentford in the Premier League at 15.
Yeah, so I don't know what they see in him, but he must be cooking because that's 15 mental. Years old to be training with the first team and then get on in the Prem, mate. Yeah, crazy.
That is mental. Youngest ever played in the Prem now, isn't he?
Yeah, 100%. So he beat Arsenal's Cesc Fabregas for the Arsenal record. I don't know who he beat. I think it's Harvey Elliott that he took the Premier League one off.
But yeah, that's crazy mental. So congratulations to him.
Yeah, shout out.
Hopefully big things to come.
Yeah, come on.
But yeah, any final thoughts on the Arsenal game?
Nah, I know everyone was talking about Man United game being our first true test of the season and we lost that. We got Spurs after the international break. That'll be a game. Spurs undefeated in the Prem and we'll move on to the next because I've got some words about Spurs. But
kind words, obviously.
Yeah, always. And then so them undefeated, us top of the league. That'll be a very big North London derby.
Yeah. Tottenham 6-2 Leicester. Brendan Rodgers, is your time up, mate?
Do you see James Madison come out after the game? His post-match.
I thought he did a good interview.
Yeah, he's good. He's like Jack Grealish in the sense that they get like
he's press resistant.
They get come on, but they get kind of painted in the media as he's kind of like. Don't want to be like stupid players that are lucky that they're good at football. But both of them, when they come out in the media, every time I've seen them, they got quite a bit about them, like talking wise. They don't seem like a media trained robot. They have like good personality when they get interviewed. And James Madison was the same. He was like, if you just looked at the result and saw 6-2, you'd be like, these were his words. You'd be like, Leicester getting battered again. But it actually wasn't like that. And that is what I've kind of labelled on Spurs every time I've watched them this season, and I'm going to label it on them again. They can't dominate a game. Arsenal, I don't want to like hark back to Arsenal, but Arsenal against Leicester 3-0, you'd expect that to be a batter, and it was. We battered them from minute 0 to minute 90. Possession, we were all over them. Shots on target, blah, blah, blah. Leicester 6-2 loss against Spurs. You'd expect Spurs to have battered them from minute 1 to minute 90, and then Leicester get a couple of counter-attacking goals. But the first half, it was close. I'd probably give it to Leicester as the most dominant team. And then most of the second half, until Son came on, it was all Leicester. There was a very good substitution from Conte to bring on Basuma and Son, because that completely changed the game and took it away from Leicester. But up until then,
so different.
Up until then, Spurs were getting peppered. And if I was a Spurs fan, yeah, buzzing. Son's back on the score sheet. 6-2 win, that's quality for your goal difference, still unbeaten. But if you come up against a good team, like you saw against Chelsea when they were lucky to get a draw, if you're not dominating games in the Premier League, you're going to struggle to get 3 points every week. You can't keep counter-attacking your way to Champions League.
They very much, like you say, they don't really stamp their authority on a game. And I know, and like you say, 6-2 win, looks like it's an absolute pummeling.
Like Leicester, more shots on target. Less shots on target, but more
7 shots on target though.
Yeah, just for me, and Son's goals were worldies as well. It's not even like they were playing well. Son just came on like a man possessed, and just every shot went in. But
he was absolutely on crud.
Yeah, for me, Spurs. They don't look great. They got
quite nice as well by the fact that Danny Ward is the worst goalkeeper. Maybe in the Premier League history. The guy...
Genuinely, I was going to say this. We just need like a separate area for just players that shouldn't be playing in the Premier League. He is out of his depth.
Bournemouth lost 9-0 and then like 4-0 or something, didn't they?
Yeah.
Leicester have now conceded more goals than them, I'm pretty sure.
Danny Ward just looks terrible. Every time he goes up to claim a corner, he looks wobbly. Every shot, his positioning in the goal is so bad. For Son's first goal, he's like in the middle of the box, and it's like, what are you doing there? Because Son's first shot wasn't even that good. It kind of just lobbed him, But because it lobbed him, it looked good. But he's just in the middle of nowhere.
He's
so bad.
Do you know what's weird for me with Leicester though? I think we said this before. Like, you look at their team, and you got players like Maddison, Tielemans, Kieran Dewsbury-Hall, Harvey Barnes, Wilfred Ndidi, Castagna as well.
Yeah.
Like, even James Justin is all right.
Individually, there's good players there.
Patson Daka, we saw he was quite good when he first joined them.
Yeah.
But he's never really had a run in the side. But yeah, and it's just, why is it not working? Like, do they just need a whole reset? Push the reset button in January. Get Tielemans out.
Yeah.
Try to get some money before he goes on a free, and then like try to rebuild. Get a manager in who can has like an actual football identity.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Brendan Rodgers doesn't, but I think he's just gone stale.
Yeah, 100%.
But it's the longest losing streak of his career. But apparently the board is still backing him. But I mean, it's a dire time to be a Leicester City fan right now.
For me, their forward line, like Daka played well, Maddison played really well, and his stats for a team that at the bottom of the league haven't won a game are still very impressive.
I don't know what Gareth Southgate's got against him.
He needs to get a call up.
Now that Calvin Phillips is having his surgery, someone like Maddison or even Barry Eze, it's a perfect time for one of them to get into the squad.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, their front line, like Barnes, Maddison, Daka, all good players. I think the problem is defensively. I think Johnny Evans is past it. I don't want to judge this new Fayez guy too soon because this was his first proper game. But yeah, I think between them and then Danny Ward, I think you always need a good unit between the goalkeeper and the two centre-backs. And I don't think Leicester have got that at the moment. And you're going to keep shipping goals when that happens.
Yeah, they've conceded like the most set-piece goals since the beginning of last season as well.
Their set-piece defending is atrocious.
It is so bad, and it seems so clear and obvious, and it's just like, how has it gone on now for nearly a season and 8 games?
Yeah, how have you not fixed that yet?
No one in the boardroom's going, right, well, that's fucking obvious, isn't it? Let's sort that out. Why don't we hire some defensive set piece coaches?
Yeah, 100%. It's a mess.
But yeah, I mean, you're looking at their bench as well. The likes of the only centre back in the team, Daniel Marty.
Yeah, and he's not even really
a centre back.
Yeah. It's a mess.
Sumare was meant to be a really hype signing, and he's just not really turned up.
No, indeed, he had a bit of a stinker as well that game, and he was like touted to be like one of the best defensive midfielders in the Prem, and he's just fallen off a cliff.
Luke Thomas, very average.
Yeah, it's not looking good at Leicester.
Yeah, it's just really, really sad times.
Yeah. One thing I do want to say about Spurs though is what I do like is the strength in depth going forward. The ability to have Son to come off the bench and change the game for you is so handy, and that's going to prove crucial in like the latter ends of the season where you need to rotate more.
It's Richarlison.
So yes,
Richarlison, you got Kulusevski.
Richarlison, when they were playing Spurs, when Spurs were playing Chelsea, he came on and changed the game completely, and you saw this with Son. So they've got the ability, if it's not working, to bring players off the bench who are at a very good level. And so that is one thing that I think will bode quite well for Spurs, that if they're in a game where they're struggling, like they were against Chelsea, like they were here, off the bench, they've got good, solid options, which I think is handy.
Nice. Should we quickly get through Everton West Ham, round off the game?
Yeah, stinker of that game.
And then we'll get on to some predictions. But yeah, Frank Lampard, Everton 1, West Ham 0. West Ham
problems.
Fucking toothless.
Yeah, problems.
Just you shit.
Oi. They've got problems in the fact that Antonio's not playing well. They need to drop him. They've got so many players that I think have kind of had their spot in the team secured for too long, and they need a bit of a freshen up, some rotation. Cresswell, average. Antonio, average. Kufau, average. Souček, average at the moment. They could all be dropped, in my opinion, and you could play Skamaka, you could play Emerson, you could play Ben Johnson. They've got options. Paqueta now, he can play that. So he was playing the number 8 role in that game. You could play him as a 6 alongside Declan Rice and play Lanzini or Fornals ahead of them.
I really like Lanzini and Fornals.
So they've got depth. Bowen needs to kick on. He's had a poor start to the season, but I think he's got it in him.
The more I watch him, the more I think it was just a flighting spell of
crazy season,
crazy form.
Yeah, maybe. But he needs to kick on because
the same way that Ben Rama sort of had that period as well.
Yeah,
I know Bowen did it better, and it lasted for a longer period of time. But it was a fleeting spell for Benrahma.
They've got a lot of players that are dropping 5 and 6 out of 10 every game. They need to all kind of step up as a unit because they're falling way off where they want to be. If they want to... So I think they've got to a stage now where they're expecting European football pretty much every season, be it the Conference League, be it Europa League or whatever. And they're falling off already. They need to start getting some points on the board.
Yeah, Everton, though...
On the up, mate. I had them touted for relegation. And I'm not saying they're clear of relegation yet. But I could say they should start looking upwards instead of downwards because they're looking all right.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they have no Calvert-Lewin since the beginning of the season, which is massive. But Mopé coming on scoring his first goal.
Yeah, good goal as well.
Massive for him.
Yeah.
Because he could be an excellent player. Conor Cody and Tarkowski, I've been impressed with those.
Yeah, we said that when they signed them. We were like, those are kind of pretty much what you want as a team battling relegation. You want 2 hardened Premier League veterans to kind of, if you're getting peppered every game, they can kind of take the game by the scruff of the neck and defend it out, which Everton couldn't do. Anytime they got a little bit of pressure, they would just fold and concede 2 or 3. Whereas Cody and Tarkowski together is nice.
Their September run was Liverpool. It meant to be Arsenal, obviously that got postponed, and West Ham. So 3 hard games, especially if you're looking at those teams from last season. And to come out with 4 points.
Decent.
Yeah, 4 points out of 2 games. You didn't get to play the Arsenal game. Yeah. That's massive for them.
Frank Lampard,
they're looking hard to break down.
Yeah, 100%. I think, like we said, the defensive unit of Tarkowski and Conor Cody is decent. Ahead of them, they've got 2 players that are doing the dirty work well. In Iwobi and Onana. Both of them, well, I don't know about Onana, but I was certain that Iwobi didn't have kind of that graft in him. But him at centre mid alongside Onana, both of them are grafting and it's working well. Pitch. Yeah, he's probably their best player this season so far. And them 2 ahead of Conor Cody and Tarkowski is a nice little square of just grafters, which I think is bode well.
Just goes to show you how well set up they actually are, is that they've only conceded 2 goals in 1 game. And every other game they've conceded like 1 or less.
Oh, 2 goals in every... Okay, yeah. I see what you mean. I thought you said 2 goals.
It's not like they're shipping goals. They haven't had the toughest run. They had Villa, they had Chelsea,
which they should have got a decent result out of. Chelsea looked
Villa, Forest, Brentford, Leeds.
That is a decent run, to be fair.
And then, Liverpool, meant to have Arsenal, and then West Ham. So fairly decent run. September obviously harder, but if you're an Everton fan, you must be gassed because everyone was tipping them for relegation.
Yeah, big time. I was one of those.
They've recruited smartly,
and I think you got to give Frank Lampard some credit because he was under a lot of pressure. Bad pre-season, bad end to last season, obviously, or bad last season. He's got to keep them safe in the league, which is pretty much all he was hired to do. But yeah, everyone, like you said, was tipping them for relegation. So start a bit wobbly, but then kick on decent results in the last couple.
Just being solid, and that is literally it. It's what Forest need to be doing.
Yeah, 100%. Forest, they need to kind of take a leaf out. So these are the teams that Forest are going to be competing with. Everton, Bournemouth, Leicester at the moment. Leicester and
Villa.
Yeah, Villa. But Leicester and Nottingham Forest, they're the 2 that are just shipping goals for fun at the moment. And they need to get a bit more solidity in there.
West Ham are down there as well.
I think West Ham will come good. They've got too much squad depth, and David Moyes is too good a manager.
Do you think it could be like fatigue of the crazy amount of games they played last season?
Yeah, they had a long season.
They don't have the depth of a Liverpool or a Man City in terms of the qualities.
I think the international break will do them good. Nice little reset because they need it, and I think they'll be fine. But Everton, I think. Keep doing it, mate. Keep being defensively solid, and they should be fine because they've got players that aren't relegation players. They've got players that are ahead of that. Onana is a mid-table or upper-end player. Conor Cody and Tarkowski, they're mid-table players or a bit higher. Iwobi, decent. They've got good players. Gordon and
potential Ballon d'Or winner. Just throw you off.
But Damari Gray, Gordon, they're good. They've got good players. They shouldn't be in a relegation battle. So if Frank Lampard gets them playing and keeps them solid, I think they'll be fine.
Nice. That rounds up the previous week's action.
Game week 8 done.
Game week 8 done. Yeah, obviously a bit short of a game week, but now we turn our head to the international break.
Fucking hate international football.
I just realised as well. I said we're going to do predictions, but there are no predictions.
No, we'll come back to you with predictions. Like we've got a few nice videos for the international break, so don't cry. There'll be decent footage, decent videos coming because we've got a couple of tasty collabs and stuff. But yeah, no predictions this week. We've got England playing, who did you say, Germany and Italy?
Yeah, Italy on the Friday and Germany on the Monday or something. But
so that's to look forward to. Yeah.
But yeah, apart from that, I mean...
Oh, we've got to announce our winner of the YouTube competition.
All right, calm. We'll be back in a second.
Yes. Let me sort that out. So, YouTube competition, mystery shirt. It's a special one because we extended it and we got a special prize lined up for one of you. And the winner is, and we'll be contacting you via your YouTube inbox, so check your inbox when we post this, is Burke. You've commented on quite a lot of our videos, and congratulations, you've won the mystery shirt.
Congratulations, Burke.
Let's go. Check your inbox. We'll be asking you for your posted details, and we'll get that prize sent out to you
ASAP.
Yeah, boy.
But yeah, nice.
Congratulations.
Shirt. Yeah, congratulations. That's what you get, guys, when you comment on the videos.
Yeah, we'll have another competition coming soon.
That's it, man.
We got obviously the long fantasy competition that is running until the end of the season. So if you're not in our BoreDraw League, get in our BoreDraw League.
Yeah, an absolute corker of a week.
Fucking, I'm in 3rd place. Let's go. Let's go. Captain Son on the hattie, mate. So yeah, if you're not in the BoreDraw League, get in there. Try and pip me to the prize. Because if I win the prize, it's an L for everyone involved, so get involved. There's 197 people, I think, in there at the moment, which is crazy.
Mental.
So yeah, get involved. We'll put the code for our BoreDraw League.
It's always in the description.
In the description. Bosh.
As well as all of our socials. We came back with TikTok. We came hard on TikTok.
TikTok's popping these days.
TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts.
Yeah, get involved.
We were on everything on Crud, and it was good. But yeah, keep following our socials because we will be pumping out more and more content. Like we said, during the international break, we've got a lot of stuff lined up to keep you guys entertained.
Yeah, boy.
We are entertainers. Robbie Williams.
Let me entertain you.
But yeah, apart from that,
treat you to that one on the
any final thoughts?
Arsenal winning the league.
And it's live.